Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the law of attraction, manifesting success stories show comes in. If you are ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello, and welcome to this special Q&A session with the Living Your Dream 2026A group. Ree, I'm going to start with you. What questions do you have for today?
I would like to know what advice do you most often give and then find to be the most helpful for beginners who are just learning LOA?
Yeah.
That was my first question.
I think it's where we start in the beginning of the steps, right? It is to start paying attention to those words that are coming out of your mouth. Because we especially beginners, I want to visualize this, I want to do this. But, if you're visualizing this amazing life, but you're speaking like this sucks, that sucks, I can't do this. And maybe not those direct words, but indirectly saying like, this is all kind of not great, or telling a bad story, like that's what you're creating. And that those words that continuously come out of your mouth are way more powerful than that vision that excites you for like 30 seconds. So my advice to beginners is generally always just start paying attention to the words that are coming out of your mouth and really start choosing those. Don't worry about all these big things. Should I visualize that? Should I do this vision board? Should I say 100 mantras? Like, just pay attention to what's already happening and stop anything that isn't what you want more of.
Okay. Do you want me to ask the other questions that I have
go for it.
here? Okay. I have two others. The next one is, what advice can you share regarding relationships?
Is there like a specific or just how to be an amazing relationship? I could do
how to be an amazing relationship. I know that you have some information about that. I don't know where to find it. And I know that you have something out there. So I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have book that'll be coming out in 2022 sometime about manifesting that great relationship. But the key that I would say is to be the person who's in a great relationship, right? Start with you. And if you want more love, give yourself more love. If you want more love notes, write yourself more love notes. If you want flowers, buy yourself flowers. And if you want to be seen, start seeing yourself, right? Start acknowledging your accomplishments, your amazingness, and start to have more fun with yourself. Be more spontaneous if that's what you want more of in your life. And really be the amazing person to be in an amazing relationship with. And whether you're already in a relationship or you're wanting to attract one, that's the same advice I would give, because that will create more of what you want. If you're being more of what you want, you're going to get more of what you want.
That's awesome advice.
Thank you.
Advice. My third question is, can law of attraction be applied to health and wellness?
Absolutely. I think that this is health and wellness is maybe one of the trickier, it doesn't have to be trickier, but people can get stuck here because so often health and wellness is automatically what we don't want. When we start thinking about health and wellness, a lot of times it comes, not always, but it comes from the place of like what we don't want. I don't want to feel this. I don't want this pain. I don't want whatever. And so the key really to applying LOA to health and wellness is, who are you when you're healthy and well? What's happening in your life, what's not happening, and turning up the volume on that. So if you walk pain-free, it's really paying more attention to those moments where there is no pain than when there is pain, right? Or really consciously, if it's about a certain look or feeling in your body, catching that. One of the things that I did sort of in the beginning of my journey was, if I knew a mirror was coming up, I just put a thought in before I got in front of the mirror. So there was no like interruption time, right? Right before you crossed it, like you're beautiful and move on. So there wasn't a time for anything else to kind of train that. Or whatever it is that I wanted to be feeling that day. So it definitely can be applied. And I think it's one of those places where there's this bigger up level because you have to step in to the space of a lot of what isn't and feel into that.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
Thank you.
welcome.
Great answers.
Absolutely. Awesome. Let's see. Shauna, are you good? You want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
back. So my question is, can you clarify
Yeah.
manifesting and putting energy into what I want versus faking it until I make it?
Yes. Do you happen to have a specific example? If not, that's okay. But
I mean, I guess I'll take my current work situation,
yeah.
right? That I know what I'm doing now, I don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like my energy is going to what I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I think about something else, I feel like that's not genuinely what I want, if that makes sense. So it feels like I'm faking that feeling of.
Oh, okay. So like when you think about what you want in a job or when you try to make yourself feel happy about a job you're not happy about?
Oh, okay. Those are two different. I think it's both, right? Like, because in my current situation, it's like I'm trying to feel happy
mm-hmm.
when I'm not happy.
Right.
So that definitely feels obviously like I'm faking it till I make it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I try to get excited about a new opportunity, that I can't feel I'm not feeling excited about even just the possibility of something new because I'm unclear of what I want.
Yeah. So I think two things are happening. Number one, you're going too far forward. Like you're going to like, oh, I'm trying to get excited about something, trying to find the feeling first, which is that is out there a lot in LOA. But I would just start picking the little things that you want. Like even if down to like, if you go into an office, realize this is maybe not everybody's reality, but like who's the receptionist? Like, do you get greeted in the morning? Like, do you want to say hi to your coworkers? Do you want to work in a place where people say hi to each other? Right. Some people want that and some people don't. Right. But getting to those smaller things that have nothing to do with the work and starting there, like this is a place you spend 8 hours a day. So whether it is on Zoom or in an office, like how do you want to feel there? What are the experiences you want outside of like the technical work, like what you're doing, right? And tap into that experience. If you want laughter, if you want collaboration, whatever that is, tap in to all of that and let that be the seedlings versus like, I'm trying to get excited, but I don't know what I'm excited about. Like just start naming things that you can identify what you want. And then I would stop putting energy into trying to be happy at your job because it's wrangle energy, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like wrestling something. And so it takes so much more energy to try to force yourself to be happy than to just be pissed off when you're pissed off, and you have a better chance of getting to neutral at your current job and feeling like neutral for those 8 hours a day. You still have 16 hours to feel amazing, which is way more than 8 hours, right? If that's how the math breaks up. But wrangling and trying to force yourself to be happy is probably just sucking even more energy out, right? And like it's exhausting,
right?
And it's okay to not love where you are. Like it's okay to not love it right now and be honest about that. I don't think we have to fake it. I don't think we have to fake like, oh, I'm so happy at my job until we're somewhere else. I think we have to do the things that make it so that we can become neutral. Like if anything, it's become neutral. I wouldn't say get through it. I would say become neutral in this space that isn't amazing. because from that neutral place, you can create the amazing. Right. But when it really sucks, that's a little bit harder. So finding the ways just to get to neutral versus, and that means feeling the feelings. That means when it's crappy, feel the crappy. It means feeling your feelings. It doesn't mean get sucked into telling the story. Right. Because there's a difference between, oh, I'm so like feeling your own feelings and going, which used to be a habit sort of in my corporate job. Like, oh, go tell 5 people the story that's just feeling the story.
Yeah.
That's not really feeling the feelings.
Right. Yeah. And the wrangling, I remember that from another interview series. We talked about like wrangling those feelings. And honestly, yeah, it does. I feel like I'm a toddler having a tantrum.
Yeah.
And like my future self is trying to be like, okay, come on. And I'm like, no, like, stop. Like, but I appreciate the advice of, or explaining like, it's okay. And maybe that's where the judgment is coming in of like feeling like I always have to be positive, because if I'm not, then I'm repelling the good stuff. Right. And I'm just getting more of the bad stuff. And I think that's where my worry is, as far as, being like, I'm always happy. Everything's great.
Yes.
But then it's like, at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted of trying to be like this upbeat person when, I don't know.
Yeah. Let it be what it is and try that for a week and see how that works out.
Yeah. I'll be honest, like earlier today, if you don't mind me sharing, like when I was talking about how I had to like breathe through some feelings and emotions, because I knew I was getting on a call with someone who I work with who I just don't get along with.
Yeah.
And I had it like, there were these like, it was building up in my head, but then I was like, nope, that's just story. You don't know what's happening. Like, just breathe through it, let everything kind of go through. And I got through the call, and it was almost an hour call. And afterwards I was like, okay, that was it. Like, I felt like at first I'm like, oh, I have to be, standoffish and like, I'm going to show her like whatever. But then I was like, that doesn't accomplish anything. I'm going to feel like crap afterwards. Just like you said, be neutral, right? Like, she's like, how's your trip? I'm like, great. So what's going on this week? Like, I don't want small talk. This is what it is. Like, and I'm here to do work. Yeah. Like, I'm here to show up for 8 hours. I'm not going out of my way to be a pain or overly friendly and faking it till I make it. I'm here to do my job and then go do what else I want to do. So awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Yay. You're welcome. Tiara.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to see if you have any additional advice. Like, I've been feeling the feelings when that little creeps in, kind of like that more money, more problems, or more money you get, the more debt you get type of thing, or the more debt will come. But I just wanted to see if you have any other suggestions or advice for growing in the abundance without having that worry creep in about debt.
Yeah. So is the question like, how do I, like, if more money shows up, do you worry there's going to be more debt? Is that what's coming?
Yes, like it's there. So I'm able right now to kind of suppress it. Like I feel it and I'm like, okay. And then, but I just wanted to see if there were any other tools or anything I could do.
I mean, so the first thought, like this is from I'll coach you, like, if we get to a place for yours. But when I heard that, I was like, oh, great. I'll have more money to pay it. Like, it's not like, for me, it's so neutral that I'm like, oh, if more money creates more debt, then you have more money to make the payment. Right. Like, because
love that.
I very much don't see, one of the ways that I make debt neutral is not seeing it as like this huge pile, right? It's always a tool for something. If it's a tool that I learned a lesson on, great. I had those in my past, right?
Mhm.
If it is something that I did for business, I mean, so for me personally, the most debt I ever had was when I became financially independent,
Mhm.
because I was leveraging someone else's money to create that.
Mhm.
And so that was the immediate thought for me. And so I'd find the thing that feels better, right? Doesn't have to like wipe out that fear or anything like that, but like okay, cool. If that happens, I'll just manifest more money, right?
No, I love that. I mean, that's it. It's the thought process. Like you said, like if I have more debt, I'll just have even more money.
Yes.
Simple. Simple.
Yes.
I love you. Thank you. That's great.
Yay. You're welcome. Leslie.
So on one of our recent calls, I arrived late.
Yeah.
And I felt inspired to apologize for being late. And I know that you coached me in the moment that it was okay, that everything was perfect. But afterwards, I kind of went away from that kind of feeling like, well, no, it didn't feel right. Like I feel that I have integrity to the group, and that I want to be present, and I don't want to miss part of the call. And at the same time, I know, like, when people apologize to me, I'm kind of like, what are you apologizing for? Like, that doesn't make sense, and so I guess I'm just curious if you have any further comments about that, or maybe if there's a way that I could have said that differently instead of apologizing.
Just show up. So I think we get, and sometimes, and you get to decide this part for yourself, like, what is our, like, where does integrity, like, like, very often what happens is we get someone else's version of integrity, and someone says we have to do that, and here's the steps, right? One of those generally being like show up on time. And so if that is our own and we create our own, it's perfect. I still don't think we have to, we just get to show up. Like when you say, like, I have integrity of the group, I'm like, of course you showed up, right? Like you show up. Like the integrity for me is showing up authentic, being open, like, because that is what empowers other people. Like we shared it in the last interview, or 2 interviews ago, when Nicole said, like, watching you grow is like gives hope. Like for me, my integrity is to show up present and open and available and all of that. And so just defining it for yourself, and just knowing that, like, I get to show up, like I'm worthy to enter the room when I enter the room. Like, because my presence matters. It matters in any moment. And for you guys, what I assume is if you're not there on the start of the call, like something else was more important. It's not that this call wasn't important. It was that you're making the space. And for a lot of you, you show up to more than an hour call a week. And so that takes maneuvering your life, right? We're all growing into freedom. So not all of you, you all have jobs and you have families and you have transportation and you have businesses and you have things to navigate. And so the fact that you show up for yourself is important enough. And when you show up, like, that's when it matters. Like, whether it's 5 minutes before the end of the call, because sometimes people mix the call up and then they get there like 5 minutes early, but they're really 55 minutes late. Like, you show up, it doesn't matter. Like, that's the perfect time. And very often, I love that I saw like the smiles as I said that story, because you guys remember that. Very often that person who comes in that 5 minutes has some amazing question that blows everybody's mind, right? The answer is like, it's worth it. It doesn't matter whether they were there or not, because that 5 minutes was golden. Did that give you perspective, shift anything? You have bring up another question?
Yeah. I guess I'm kind of feeling like I understand, like that's the meaning that you have for the integrity. And so I feel like
that doesn't have to be yours though. I want to make that.
Yeah. Like I feel like I have how I feel about how I come into a call now is going to be different because of that, I think.
Awesome.
And I guess in part, I felt like I wanted to like have a platform in a sense of being able to communicate to the group that what my feeling of integrity is.
Yeah. I mean, so you can, it's just not like, I'll be honest with you. This space is so sacred. I don't want to waste it apologizing.
Yeah.
Like that's wasted energy. Like it doesn't, like, If you need to, great. But the energy of what we create, like there's no apologies. Like we just don't apologize in this space. Like, and it's okay to, like, if you want to apologize to someone for being late, and sometimes I do, like, sometimes I don't, right? Because as I've grown, what I've learned is if I trust the timing, it's way more important than me being crazy. This is for me, being crazy about showing up on time, right? Because there are days I will be early and then Zoom will mess up. And like, it looks like I'm 2 minutes late, but I've been waiting for you guys for 7 minutes, you know, like I've been here. Right. And that happens in life. And I think for me, it's about being present when we get there. And the space on the Enchanted Circle calls, just it's too sacred to apologize. Mm-hmm. Like we all just get to show up. It's just too sacred to be apologizing for anything. Mm-hmm. Unless we offend someone, right? Like, unless we really like, which never, that doesn't happen. But, you know, that's something that doesn't happen. We don't like, whatever, do any of that. But if it happened, that would be, but to just like, I get to show up, I'm here, and partaking. Any other follow-up to that, or does that feel complete?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I love how the light is just, those of you listening who can't see this, no, but it's like just, oh, like that's the light coming on you right now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. This has been a fantastic Q&A. Any other questions pop up as you guys were listening to answers? Awesome. Everybody's complete. Shauna, go for it.
Oh, well, I guess sort of going back to my question and thinking about it, is it possible that by showing up and doing the work, I'm feeling like these aren't my people, or, you know, my job, like
at your job? Yeah. Like doing the Enchanted Circle work, or just showing up neutral? Oh, for sure.
And that's maybe, and it's the discomfort. I don't want to say it's discomfort, but it feels squishy.
Yeah. Yeah, because you created this job before the Enchanted Circle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like this is created in this older version of you, this past version who had all these other layers of stuff, right? And so what might even be feeling crappy right now felt good in a way before, because it's what you it's what you were used to, right? But now you're different. And so
do you see me sweating right now? God. Oh yeah, that struck a nerve. Woo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like on the call earlier when you were coaching, was it Vicky? Like I resonated with so much of what she was talking about. And yeah, just what you said. It was like I created this job from a total lack mentality. I was like, I just need a full-time job to pay off this debt. And I paid off the debt. And now, yeah, wow, that is a huge aha. Huge. I didn't even think about it that way, that this was created, like, this was 3 years ago where I was in a completely different space, mentally and emotionally.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Man.
Everyone else complete? Awesome. Well, have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you all for tuning into our Q&A section. Make sure to come back next time and check out what else is awesome with these ladies.
Thank you for joining us on the Law of Attraction Manifesting Success Stories show. To learn how to attract more money into your life, go to your favorite book retailer and order Cassie's book, Manifest $10,000.